Welcome to Make Lemonade Podcast with John Jimenez. I am a filmmaker slash creator, and I decided to make this podcast because I want to share what I have learned through my life lessons and other people's experience. If this is your first time here, welcome. Make Lemonade is about what we learn through life lessons. So, if you like to listen to a podcast as you drive or go for a run, you like to learn through other people's experience, or want to gain wisdom through tips and life lessons, then you are in the right place. So let us go on this journey together and discover life full lessons from remarkable people like Abraham Lincoln, Nelson Mandela, Albert Einstein, you, me, and much more. Welcome to Make Lemonade Podcast. What's going on, guys? This is John Jimenez here with MLP, Make Lemonade Podcast, and I just wanted to get on here real quick just to talk to you about the, simple message that all my life I have learned and I have been till this day learning. And sometimes when you learn, there's things that you can't comprehend, and so you have to keep on studying and researching to see and what it really is all about. And so, what I wanted to talk to you is the title for this podcast is Helping Other People. So, let's get right into it. Okay, guys, so if you hear like some sort of wind in or if you heard some wind in the intro to this podcast, it's because I am out here running my usual mile on Saturdays and Sundays. And so I took this time right now to just talk to you. So, excuse me if you hear this wind, but, I just had to give you this message some way, somehow. And this is what I love about Anchor. And this is why I, promote it on my podcast, and because it's super super effective if you want to share a quick message with people, get together with someone else, talk, make a podcast. This is the moment to do it. You can just be anywhere, an idea pops up, you write it down and you say it, or it doesn't even have to be scripted. Just like me right now, this podcast is not scripted, so forgive me if it's going everywhere, but this idea just came up and I just wanted to share it with you because it's something that I have been in my life wanting to do, and it is my reason for or my purpose that I want to do everything that I want to do within my life. So my career, my visions for that career, and what I want to do for my life, what do I have for my life, and it's a part of it. And it's something that I believe strongly that if you want to help people, and if you want to help people, and you come to a dream that is just about you and just about helping yourself, I think that is a small dream, and it's not big enough because you need people in your life and you need that dream to help other people, because that's what we're here in this world. That's a purpose, to help each other and grow and take care of this world. So in saying that, uh, I was watching. I don't know if you know about this app, TikTok, and of course, it's not a sponsorship. But if you haven't heard about TikTok, it's a pretty cool app. It reminds me of Vine. So you have like a couple of seconds, and you can cut your video down to, like, I don't know, different sections, and it will let you record like 1 second, 2 seconds, and then you can pause and then record something else. So I mean, it's really 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 amazing. Really, I really like it. So if you had a chance, check it out. I watch hilarious videos all the time there. So give it a shot. See if you like it. The mostly it's about like young people doing stuff there. Some older people, but mostly it's just funny stuff. But my point with that is that I was watching this video on there, and it was really interesting, right? It was Tupac talking, and I've heard some of Tupac's music, but I haven't really known the man for what he was and who he stood for. But the little that I know, is that, uh, is that he was just trying to do what he wanted to do, but he also wanted to help his community. And so he saw a lot of people that needed help, and he did it when he had the time to do it. So in saying that, I'm gonna show you a quick video right now. It's gonna be like a I guess like a quick uh, voice recording of him talking, and then we're gonna go into what I think about what he said. So here we go. Let me see, and here we go.
Everybody should work hard. Practice makes perfect. You have to be diligent about what you want. You have to apply yourself. You have to motivate yourself. And you have to do it for self, by yourself. And then you can do things for other people.
All right, guys. So this small clip, was really powerful for me when I saw it, and one thing I don't want you to do before I start talking about the video is I don't want you to mistake what I mean about self. Uh, when you hear the word, then you gotta do it for yourself, you gotta do this for yourself, you gotta do this for yourself, and then you can help people. I don't want you just to keep in mind about self, because that's not what I'm promoting whatsoever here. And hold on, let me just take a little sip of water, because I was running. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so my point is this. Let me start. There's like six things that he mentions that we need to really take, into consideration. He says, work hard, practice makes perfect, be diligent about what you want, you got to apply yourself, and you got to motivate self, right? And we got to be determined, and then you can go and help others, right? Now, this things that, comes within self, with that in it, to help other people is very, very important, because you see, when growing up for me, one of the things that because I grew up with a dad being a minister, my family being the church, so I got to be in the area where we got to help people in the community that were low income people that were struggling, and all this stuff that we got to help them. So we helped them with food, we helped them with clothing. When it was holidays, we gathered toys for them. We gave them food for in the holidays, because all that was important for us, and we wanted to help people. Now, before we even help people, there's something that is called money, right? You gotta have a certain amount of money to buy these things or get them donated, right? And what does those people have to do before they buy something and donate it? They gotta have the financial to buy those toys and be able to give freely from what they want to give. And so, if there's one thing that I've seen a lot of people do is give and give, and they don't have the means to be giving and giving and giving. And I understand faith, right? Faith is believing in something that you really can't see, right? And it's believing, and that's practically what faith is, believing. That's like the simplest that I can put it. And so when you believe in something, you have faith in something, right? So my point with this six steps that Tupac, is talking about is super, super important, because I just don't want to mention that, hard work, and you have to, practice make perfect, and you have to be determined about what you want. Those are good when you have a goal, when you have something that you're looking to become, right? You can apply this not only in helping people, but you can apply this in your career, you can apply this in any point in your life to reach goals. This is a good step to reaching goals, but that's not my main point. My main point to this is that anywhere that we want to go or want to be at a certain point, you got to start from point A, correct? From your first step It has to be point A. You know, people who we say that are lucky and are born, in a rich family, they still got to start at point A because yes, they're born already wealthy, but guess what? They're not at any position to move forward until they learn the works and the characters and go through the position that the dad wants them, the parents wants them, for the child to go to learn to either be a part of the family or learn how to sustain, oneself. So everyone starts from point A. And that's what I want you to understand because even in my life, there's times that I want to jump to like C, D, and all the way to Z because, I want to be there already. But there's a certain amount of steps that one has to take to get to that level. And this is why I agree so much on what Tupac says because he does it in six steps. And you have got to work hard. You got to work hard for what you want. That's some step that here in America we've created a culture of working hard, right? But I want to add, you also got to work smart. You know, you just can't go out and work hard if you're not even working in the place that you want to work. This is one thing that I've learned in college, and going in college and not working within my degree was tough because I was there from 6 in the morning to like 10 o'clock at night, and I had to drive each morning and each night an hour to go back home, 55 minutes, about, I want to say 50 miles, 55 miles every day from like Monday to Friday. And then I had my weekends to, study and do my homework for a big test that I had the next week. So my point is, I learned in college that when you go into college, you want to be in a certain degree, put yourself in that position. Because it takes me to my next level. You're not only working hard, but you're also working smart, and which means practice makes perfect. This is where practice comes in because once you get out of college or once you get out of anything and you go into the world and want to become something, people want to know that you have experience. Whether you're starting your own business, whether you're starting working in a certain place, people want to know you have experience. Whether it be a year experience, whether it be 20 years experience, people want to know you have experience, and experience comes a long way. That's why practice makes perfect. When you are in a field, let's say I'm relating to college because this is one thing that I went through, and so being in college and practice makes perfect. That means be not only in the stuff that you need to be in school, but if the school has something that you can work on that can, that you can practice on your skills that you are applying in your education, you can also apply them in a certain job that is related to your field. Because once you get out, let's say you're in school for 4 years, and once you get out, you have 4 years of experience, and when you go into, to get your resume and give it to a company that you wanted to work out your whole life, you're already ahead of the game. You know the game, the game field or the playing field. You know what things, the lingo, the way people talk. You know a lot about it. 4 years of experience is a lot of years to know, and you are ahead of the game. You know what to say, you know exactly what to tell them. You have people that that can write you, recommendation letters. And so this is very super important. So then, the third step where he goes to, you got to be diligent about what you want. And this is very important because, you know, many people want to go into like one, two, three things, and try to do all these three things at the same time. And there's nothing wrong with it. But the thing is, when you try to do multiple things at once, you're going to weaken yourself in multiple areas. So you want to go be, let's say you want to be like you you want to help people, you want to help yourself, and you also want to help your family, right? And of course you can do that once, but this is like a I'm trying to give you like an analogy of like how things work where you're weakening yourself. You see, when you try to do all these three things at the same time, you're really weakening yourself. And the main part is you got to be diligent about what you want. You got to do that. So, as hard as it can be and as hard as it is, you gotta, if you're single out there and you don't have kids right now, you gotta put yourself in a position where you are going to help yourself, and you got to know what you want. You got to be diligent about it, and and seek it, that one thing that you want to do. And the reason why I'm saying that, not I'm not saying don't pursue this, don't pursue that. I know that at your 20s you want to pursue a lot of things, you should try a lot of things, but I say even in high school, or even from like elementary, you should already be trying all of these things and visiting like everything that you want to do. Like if your kid wants to be a fireman when he's 5 years old, take him to the fire department and see what he like. Kid wants to play soccer, take him to the soccer place and tell him what it takes, the hard work that it takes to be there and how far they can go. You start showing them all these things and you start seeing in them what really, really is inside of them for them to do for the rest of their life, their real purpose. And so in saying that, be diligent about what you want. It's very important that you stick to one thing, because that one thing, trust me, it's going to make room for other things that you want to do. For example, you got to get your degree, you got to, get where you want to be, and, you get to it. That's the point. You get to your degree, you start earning the income that you want to earn, you start getting the house that you want, and then boom, you have the capability to supply a family, you have the capability to supply kids, dogs, or whatever you want to have in your life. You know, and even if you are right now married, and even if you are right now with kids, this is the moment to focus on your main priorities. This is your main priorities. You want to help your kids, you want to help this, and you got to do a little bit of a sacrifice. And this is the hard part, because a lot of kids complain that their parents are not there, but you got to assure your kid, you got to be like, look, at this time, there's going to be about a 1 or 2, 3 years that, you're going to be with a babysitter, or you're going to be at your grandma's, you're going to be at someone's place just for this amount of time. And of course, you're going to set up an arrangement so everything can be well and go safely to you. Those 3 years are up, right? So you're going to do what you have to do. You're going to take care of your family, do the things that you need to do, go to job. But your main focus is to achieve that, so that your family can have what they've always wanted, or what you always wanted your family to have: a good home, a good income, good clothes that they could wear, and buy things that you can afford, take them out places that you never thought you could go. But you need to do this one thing first: be diligent about what you want. Then apply yourself. Apply yourself. Whatever it is that you're doing, apply it. Apply it everywhere you go. And this is one of the things that I learned from Dr. Miles Monroe. Now, if you haven't heard about Dr. Miles Monroe, I suggest you go right now, pause this and go look Dr. Miles Monroe and see one of his sermons, see one of his teachings, or one of his speaking in conferences. I mean, this man, sadly, he passed away, but he is an amazing person that I consider as one of my mentors, that I've learned from so much. And in saying that, uh, one of the things that what I mean when you apply something is very simple, uh, that I'm going to explain it right now. So, for example, books, right? You like to read novels, you like to read nonfiction, fiction books, different genres and categories. But I got to stop you for the moment. When you are applying your, skill, or whatever it is that you want to do, when you are applying, that means applying is everything that is around you will revolve around what you want to do. For example, and this is the analogy I'm going to give you with the books, or an example, and I'm going to give you with the books. Sorry about that analogy. An example is books. Again, I said you like to read all this stuff in novels, but now you got to stop, because now you got to read everything that has to do with what you want to do. You got to apply that to your life. So when you're gonna go to the bookstore, we're gonna go, get books from like a Kindle, or like something, the ebooks. It's very, very important that you read stuff that that pertains to what you do. Because if you don't do that, you stick to novels, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. And believe me that if you do not stick to that, you will miss a lot of knowledge, because knowledge is power. And knowing more about what you do and really, like getting precise about what you do is very important and very effective in the place that you go, because when you know more, you can do more. So, and the more you know, the more you can do. And that's what I want to point out and apply yourself. Please do not put yourself in places like watching TV and things that you don't need to watch when you need to apply yourself to what you need to do. Very, very important. And to continue, Dr. Miles would spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on books, but on books that would pertain to what he did. Because he would counsel he would counsel statemen. He would counsel countries. He would go out and speak to people a lot. So he had to read books that had to contain with a lot of this information in leadership and growing and all these things, because it was crucial to what he did. So that's why you got to apply yourself on the things that matter and not on the things that don't matter. That's why when I have my time of break, that is a time that I apply myself to relaxing and to really focusing on relaxing. But when I have my time where I am on it, like which is like 75 percent or like 80% of the year, I am 100% away from TV, only applying myself to social media on the things that I need to, seeing things that will only benefit, my job, my career, my businesses, and things that would only help me grow in the areas that I need to grow. And TV, entertainment is out the window, because if they're not helping me, they're out the window. And that's hard to say, because there's a lot of things that I cut off that I don't need, that people, that are right now like living their life, the 24, the 5 to 9 or the 9 to 5 job, are freaking out because I don't work the way they work. My job is not 9 to 5. My job is 24 hours. The 18 hours that we get in this time that we have light and enough to get rest, so we won't be like cranky or unhealthy. Uh, I could push it to 18 hours a day to work all day. And so I apply myself so that I can be more efficient on what I do. And then motivating. Like, this is the thing that really I had to struggle, because most of my motivation when growing up came from other people. It came from my brothers, it came from my mom, it came from people that I would look up to, people that I consider mentors. And once they disappeared, once I had to walk on my own, I'm telling you, I was like a baby trying to walk with no one's help. And so, and that's when I realized that I needed other people. But that's another story. But, my point is this: you got to motivate yourself. You got to push yourself to really, go the limit, push yourself, because it is a scary thing. I'm not going to lie. It's a scary thing to motivate yourself and be self motivated. But when you start doing it and you start pushing yourself to do it, trust me, you get stronger. You start knowing your weak points. You start knowing your strength, and that's why I talk about in the last two podcasts. I talk about strength and weaknesses, because it's something that in my life I've learned and applied and still continue to apply in my life, and still continue to study, research, and observe and learn, and apply different theories and data, so that I can grow in this area and so that I can give you more information. Now, the last one that he says is determination, right? Determination. You got to be determined to do, because there's going to be a lot of things that are going to put you off, but you got to be determined. People are going to tell you no by the thousands. I can tell you this because I've gone to places by the thousands. Once I graduated from school, I was trying to get jobs from different areas. I got denied over 100 times to get a job. And not only that, people wanted experience, and there are several reasons why, but I learned from each those 100 times. If you want to learn more, you got to call back and you got to ask them, hey, why didn't you hire me? Why didn't what was the cause that put you off on from me? And one of the things that I learned is many people hire by your views, your looks, the way you speak, your character. And as much as they say we do not hire by race, we do not discriminate. I'm sorry, we do not discriminate by race. We do not discriminate by color. That's a lie, guys. That's baloney because they do. And as much as I hate to people to do this, it's something that around the world they do. The way you present yourself, the way you speak, the way you act, your character goes a long way. And that's why some of the things that I've talked about, strength and weakness, is very, very important. So if you haven't heard that podcast, I suggest after you hear this one, go to the one that says for that podcast, which is living on strength and weaknesses, and go check out the podcast because it's going to help you a lot, and you're going to understand more about what I'm talking about, strength and weaknesses. So you got to be determined. You got to be determined, and you got to be your own yes. You got to be optimistic. You got to be your own yes, because even people who are closest to you, who don't see what you see, are going to tell you no. But you can't let yourself go down, because if you see your vision, you see, you got to be determined. You got to keep on doing. You got to do your working hard. Practice makes perfect. You got to be, very uh, direct into what you want to do, and you got to apply it, and you got to motivate yourself, and of course, you got to be determined. So those are the three things, in relation that you can do in anything. I mean, six things that you can do in with anything. But when it comes to helping people, which is the main point that I'm talking about, when it comes to helping people, these are what the things that you need to do. This is the steps. But my main point is that you gotta be at a place where you are, good to do for people the things that you want to do, right? So for me, my businesses, and the reason why I'm doing all these things to help myself and be able to give people what I want to do, you know one of the things that I want to do for people is I want to provide not only jobs, but I want to provide jobs that don't discriminate people on the way they are, the way they look, the way they do. And I want to give people the opportunity of, even though they're not the A players, I want to give the B players to be A players, or the C players to be A players. Why? Because I believe that every human in this world, every human has the potential to be great, to be a part of something great. And giving them that opportunity and teaching them and being, the flow of how things go. Because one thing that I believe is that the leadership, if your leadership is corrupt, everything will be corrupt. If your leadership is strong, everything will be strong. If your leadership works smart, everything is going to work smart. So it's according to your leaders that this will go through. And I seen this jobs that I've applied to, their leaders are corrupt. Their leaders are, people who only play with A players. And, and I understand you want all A players, but this is what the conception that I've understood through my whole life. People would choose the A players because they think they're the best, right? And see, the thing with A players is that you got to cater to them. You got to do all this thing for them, because if not, they're going to complain. And now no, your place is not good enough for them, and they're going to move somewhere else, and you get threatened, and then you have all these issues. But when you play with B and C players, they're ready to learn. They're ready to get on it, and do what you want them to do, because they want to grow. And if you are a leader that allows them to grow, and allows them to really work on their skills, and strength, and work on their weakness, I mean, they're going to become people who are great. They're going to become A plus players, because it's very, very important that. So, this is what I want to do for people. I want to help people. And there's like a million things that I want to do to help even more people. But my part is I got to be good on my area. I got to be good on myself. I got to work on myself. I got to, become that leader that I want to become. I got to, do all these things. And it's going to take some time. And I think many people would see me now and be like, wow, man, you really haven't done anything. You're just working with small businesses and, you haven't grown. But my thing is, look, you only see what you see, but I see the big picture. You may see just like a pinch of what I'm doing, but the big picture is so much beautiful. And so, that's why I get discouraged. What I got to do, I got to do. And that's my point because I'm growing. I am growing and growing and growing. So if I need to get a job from somewhere, let's say, for example, if I need to get a job from McDonald's, I'm going to get the job from McDonald's because I need it for that certain amount of time and because it's going to take me through what I need to get through so I can get to where I want to be. And that's the thing what I want to express here because when you want to help people, again, you got to be diligent. You got to practice, practice makes perfect and all these things. You got to work hard, you know so in saying all those things, I hope that in some way this, even though this wasn't scripted, it's just me talking, blabbing. I wanted to share this with you because for me it was very important, and I see a lot of people doing this with, with in my life, and even myself, things that I had to get myself out because even I had done these things and didn't see and was blind to the fact that some of the things that you need to do is you really need to apply yourself, and practice makes perfect. As much as we don't want to believe that, practice makes perfect, or not believe it, but we consider it a principle thing. But it's something that is more than a principle. I think it's something that works even in advance in every area of your life. You got to keep on going. Just because you make it at the top doesn't mean you're going to stay there. You got to keep going. You got to keep strengthening yourself. The more you know, the more you grow. So with saying all this stuff, I leave you and I hope that you have a great day and enjoy your day. And remember, guys, you want to help people, you know, you gotta work on yourself and enable yourself to do that. And don't think about it as something that's gonna be crazy hard. Just think about it as something that's gonna help you grow to help others. And with saying that, guys, this is John Jimenez. I am your host for MLP Make Limited Podcast, and we'll see you later. Peace. Or we'll talk to you later. Peace.